Hi there, I'm Nick from Sweden. I want to talk to you now about a man called Gonzalo Lira, who is also known as Coach Red Pill. He has several YouTube channels and is very active on them, and he's talking a lot about the Ukraine war and the situation that everything that has got to do with that on his numerous channels. I know he has about 2 or 3 YouTube channels. Doesn't matter the exact amount, but I want to talk about him now. And why do I want to do that? Well, because he's a guy with a very, very big following. He has several 100,000 followers. And quite frankly, he talks a lot of trash about Ukraine and the whole war situation. And he has made some claims that I want to not debunk, because I can't debunk them fully, but I want to discuss them, let's say. And who is Gonzalo Lira, also known as Coach Red Pill? Well, he claims to be a man from Chile, and he has also said that he's lived and studied in the United States. And to put it short, he got known about 2018, I think, with his channel Coach Red Pill, and rightly so, because he produced a lot of quality content. And he ran that channel very successfully for I think 3 years, let's say. I think it was like from the end of 17 up till 2021, when the channel mysteriously imploded or disappeared. I think he erased most of his content for some unknown reason. But anyway, I want to talk to him today because he claims to be living in Kharkiv in Ukraine, which is very, very, very close to the Russian border, and has been one of the focal points of this war. One of the worst places to be, I would say, in the whole war. And what we do know about his whereabouts is that he was indeed in Kiev in the very start of the war, because he proved that by filming himself being in this hotel, Premier Palace I think it was called, and he showed himself in that hotel, and he made a fool of himself when he insulted numerous journalists who were also in that hotel, and also out on the street, on some square. He insulted them loudly. And but anyway, he proved that he was in Kiev, in fact, in this period. Around the 24th of February, and a week on, he filmed himself in this hotel, and he talked about his experiences. He said that he was in fact afraid, so afraid that he's been pooping his guts out every morning. And that was kind of funny, but what's not so funny is his very, very strong anti-Ukrainian opinions and pro-Russian propaganda that he's spewing. But I'll get back to that a little bit later. Please excuse my English. I'm Swedish, so English is not my native language. So I'll get back to his background later, but I want to talk to you now about the core of my criticism against Gonzalo Lira. Since he has a very big following and claims certain things, we have to get to the bottom of this. He was in Kyiv during the beginning of the war, and then he claimed that he was getting back to Kharkiv. And he claimed also before that he lived in Kharkiv, and I don't have any big reason to dispute that, because apparently he has his wife or something there, who is probably Ukrainian or Russian Ukrainian or whatever, and he has 2 kids. I don't think we need to doubt that he actually has 2 kids that are half Ukrainian or something like that. So yeah, maybe they did live in Kharkiv. But he claimed to have went back there after the invasion of Kyiv and Ukraine, and maybe he did. But that was a long time ago now. Now it's like late October, and it's been 8 months of this war. And my question is, why does Gonzalo Lira, Coach Red Pill, claim to be still in Kharkiv, let alone Ukraine? Because he has said himself on one of his videos that, quote, my wife and kids, or his partner and kids, are, quote, safe in the West. That means that they are nowhere near Ukraine. And he also said this recently in one of his videos that, oh, thank God my kids are safe. I think he said that they were at the beach or something like that. Some place where there was an ocean or whatever, swimming or whatever. So he has made it very clear that his family is not in Ukraine. And that's good, I would say. But he claims to be in Kharkiv. And he claims to have been there all this time. 8 months in the beginning of the war. And I doubt that, because he has made it very clear that he's a pro-Russian propagandist, and he's an anti-Western propagandist, and an anti-Ukraine government propagandist. He doesn't even call them the Ukraine government. He calls them the Zelensky regime. That's what he calls them, the government. So he has made his position very, very, very clear. And like, he's very active on social media, recording almost daily, like, his videos where he talks vehemently about these things, and having all these guests on, like these live streams, and the round table, that's what he calls it, the round tables, where he has other similarly anti-Western, anti-Ukrainian and pro-Russian people. Yeah. So, and then there was this staging, I would say, of his disappearance, his abducting by the Ukrainian security forces. This was, I think it was in April or May, and the guy claimed to have been abducted or like taken into custody by the Ukrainian security forces or the army or whatever. And there was like a outpour of like concern on the internet. It was all over YouTube, like, where is Gonzalo Lira? Please, let's find Gonzalo Lira. Please help, he's been abducted. Like, Gonzalo Lira is missing in Ukraine. And there were some famous YouTubers who like weighed in on this, like Entrepreneurs in Cars, this guy with a big beard. And what the hell is his name? Rich Cooper. And other semi or quasi famous YouTubers. Rich Cooper is fairly big. But let me tell this straight. There is no proof at all that Gonzalo Lira, aka Coach Red Pill, was ever abducted by the Ukrainian security forces or the police or whatever. There is no proof. It's just his claim. He went dark for 10 days or something like that, 8 days, whatever, 1-2 weeks, that doesn't matter. He went dark. He went missing off the internet. He went off grid. And everybody went like nuts and said, oh, he's dead, he's been killed, he's been murdered, he's been imprisoned in Ukraine. No, there is no proof of this. There was like some Twitter picture where some soldiers were sitting, and some Ukrainian soldiers, I think, were sitting, and they made like a meme or like a picture with some text where, you're looking for Gonzalo Lira or something like that. He's right here or something like that. You know, something very, very not verifiable. So we have zero proof that Gonzalo Lira was quote unquote abducted in Ukraine. And when he did show up, he looked just fine. He didn't look like he was had been roughed up or like beaten or something like that. So this whole thing is so not provable. It's just a claim from his side, nothing more. And it doesn't matter how many famous YouTubers or whatever claim that he's been abducted, but because there is zero proof of the matter. And that's that. So, and given Gonzalo Lira's very, very anti-Ukraine commentary and his stance, I find it totally impossible or unbelievable that he would be allowed to continue doing what he's doing in Ukraine at this moment, because the war is real. And the Ukraine is fighting a genocidal war for its very existence. They are fighting a war to survive and to even exist as a nation and as a people. That's fact. And am I to believe that Gonzalo Lira can sit there and talk his anti-Ukrainian trash to his hundreds of thousands of followers, and this would have no consequences? I mean, he claims to be in Kharkiv. It's not the biggest city in Europe, you know. I mean, they would find him in an afternoon. And he claims to have been living there for many years. So, if this was real, most people in Kharkiv would probably know where he's living. And in a real war, genocidal, disgusting, dirty war as this is, where the Ukrainians are fighting for their survival, he would be arrested the same afternoon that he started this. And probably taken somewhere dark, you know. I mean, it's frankly impossible that they would let him have his show, this anti-Ukrainian show, in the middle of this anti-Ukrainian war that Russia is waging. So, he claims to be living in Kharkiv. I just don't believe it. Because, yeah, they would probably kill him or abduct him or prison him or all the things together, you know. So yeah, I mean, he's just claiming to be living in Kharkiv, but he hasn't proved it. And he has certainly not proved that he has been there all this time, for all these 8 months of the war. He did go out, this topic has been up before, and he did go out in one of the videos, I think it was like early spring, April, May, or whatever. He did go out on some street and filmed some buildings or whatever and say, hey, see, I'm in Kharkiv. But I don't think those buildings he showed proved anything, actually. My guess, and this has been my guess from the very beginning, is that Coach Red Pill, Gonzalo Lira, he is nowhere near Ukraine. Or maybe he is near Ukraine, but not in the Ukraine. Maybe he's in Russia, in Belgorod or Moscow or whatever. I also guessed earlier that he was in Poland or Hungary or Holland or whatever. Because, yeah, these claims are ridiculous. Yeah, there's so much to talk about this, so much to say about Gonzalo Lira. He's like a famous guy. He's a big YouTuber, and he was even bigger before he ruined it all by deleting his own channel. So, yeah, I mean, and people take his words, his claims as fact, as truth, when they're anything but. And yeah, he needs to prove himself here, to like prove that he's in Kharkiv or whatever, because otherwise, why should we believe him? And many, if not all of his claims about what's going on in this war have been false or proven to be wrong. In the beginning, he said, yeah, Ukraine is winning the propaganda war, but Russia is winning the actual war. He said very confidently. Yeah, we see now, and we saw even that time, that wasn't the case at all. I mean, this war is something of a stalemate, I would say. In the beginning, the Russians had the upper hand. Now it's the Ukrainians that have the upper hand, even though they, of course, cannot regain all the south and southeast so easily. So, yeah. I mean, I just don't believe that he's there, because he would get arrested and in no time. like in the first week. So the dog didn't like my comments about Gonzalo Lira, that's for sure. So, and I mean, the guy is just sitting with a camera filming himself and talking. He can do that from any country on earth almost, you know. And yeah, that's that, you know. No credibility to his claims. And now I want to talk a little bit more about Gonzalo Lira as a YouTuber and phenomenon, because he is very, very, very charismatic. There is no question about that. He made what we say in Swedish comet career, like the comets, you know, that goes between the stars. He made a comet career. He started out in, I think, late 2017, and his channel just went turbo, you know. So in no time he had hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I think he reached 200,000 pretty quick, and yeah, just a few months later he was up at 300,000 subscribers. And there something happened. It stagnated for some reason, I don't know. He claimed to have been like strangled the channel, that YouTube made this and whatever, but we don't have time to discuss all that. But the guy is very, very, very charismatic. He's like almost like a phenomenon. And yeah, he claims to have some kind of upper class background where which he apparently has forfeited or left because he didn't feel at home there. He claims to have studied at what was the name? Dartmouth. Dartmouth. I think that's in the United States. I might be wrong, but that's an Ivy League school. And I actually don't doubt him on that, because the guy is very sharp. He's very yeah, he's like a fuck, I lost the word. Like a sharpened knife. His intellect is very sharp. And his largest strength, his biggest strength, is that he has what we say in Swedish, his mouth leather, the inside of his mouth is oiled up. He has an oiled tongue. His tongue is very agile. He's a masterful storyteller. He can like rant like hours on end in his YouTube videos, apparently totally unscripted. He can talk convincingly about his stories, and now I'm referring to the Coach Red Pill channel, because before he really went south. And he could talk very convincingly and very charismatically for hours, basically. His typical videos would be anything from like 30 minutes to an hour. And with very small means and resources, he made great videos that attracted a major following. He says that he has been working in video production before, and I don't doubt him, because he clearly knows how to handle cameras. And he was filming himself in this very uninteresting environment, like his office or his living room or his workshop where he had these woodworking tools and stuff. But the way he filmed himself, that was the interesting thing. It was not the surroundings, it was, and the requisita, as we say in Swedish. I don't know what the hell it's called in English, but it was not it was not his actual milieu, it was how he filmed himself in that milieu, with different cameras, very sharp images, a high-res video quality, of course, and his way of storytelling, because Coach Red Pill channel was a channel of storytelling. I mean, that was his peak. Peak him was Coach Red Pill, because he was quite frankly great in that role. He put out a lot of content, and I watched almost all of it several times, some of the videos, where he in fact gave us very like quality content, like his coaching of young guys, and his telling of his life's wisdoms and good advice, and on different topics for yeah, predominantly young guys, young men, I would say, according to his own words. That was gold, like quality content. No discussion about that. To be fair, there was a lot of like misogynistic and sometimes also hateful content. He spewed a lot of hate, and he continues to do that in a charismatic way. But I would say that his content on Coach Red Pill, I'd say that is like 80% quality content that less experienced guys, younger guys, can use to their benefit. Yeah, many of his stories were true or rang of truth. Like there is a video called "When You Don't Respect Your Father." I saw that, and that rang true with me. You know, I have that experience. And how to budget your life. That one was good, but with some wild fantasies, some wild claims about earning, like buying real estate and living off rented property. That's just fantasies. Most people can't do that or don't want to do that. For example, me, even if I had the money, I wouldn't want to rent out to people. I mean, to rent out property. I don't want to do that. That's not my thing. So that was kind of wild, those claims, but the video as such was very good. Very on spot, you know, like in your 20s you're like searching for yourself and whatever, finding out who you are, and then in your 30s you're like building a career, and in your 40s you're like on top of your game, and like on your 50s then where you're at the peak of your life, if not earlier. And then he said at 60 you're gone, you're nothing, you know. You're flat, not broke, but you're nothing anymore. Nobody cares about you when you're 60. And he probably is right about that. So that was one golden video, I would say. Thankfully, there is a channel called Coach Red Pill Archive, which has all of these videos, or most of them, for the benefit of the hereafter, let's say. For all his fans, which I am a fan of him, actually. But I don't know why he erased his channel. I can't figure out why he did it, because he he made a video like late 2021, like why you should leave America now, or like something like that, something doomsday, you know, scenario. And then he made another video called "Leave Now While You Still Can." And this was, of course, in the aftermath of Corona, which is a totally different discussion. And I kind of understand where he's coming from, that everything is like going to shit, going to hell. But it's actually not that bad as he portrayed it to. And this is just bad advice. A lot of what Coach Red Pill says is bad advice. And and not even mentioning Gonzalo Lira. I will say that Coach Red Pill is one Gonzalo Lira, and Gonzalo Lira now is another Gonzalo Lira. So, but his content, as I said, it was like 80% gold and 20% rotten, filthy, whatever. So why did he delete his own channel? I think he talked in some video about like when we are at the peak of our lives as men, we tend to self-destruct. We destroy what we have created, and he might be right about that. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I have done it myself. That's a topic for another video. I have destroyed a big thing that I had in my life. But yeah, and that was that. But I think it was a profoundly big mistake by him to destroy or delete his videos and end his Coach Red Pill channel, because that was peak him. He could have been much bigger. He got like 300,000 subscribers in short time, in a couple of years. And if he just had continued with that, he would have probably millions of subscribers by now. If he had kept putting out quality content and stayed away from the worst hate language and hate claims and blah, you know, this hateful talk. But I guess we are the agents and the architects of our own destruction, quite frankly. And he's been talking about that. And I just can't understand why he abandoned that channel and started this other garbage projects that he has now, where he's talking trash about Ukraine and praising Russia and whatever 24/7. He claims that he doesn't do that, but he's doing exactly that. He claims that he's not a pro-Russian shill, and he claims that he's neutral and whatever, and he claims that he likes Ukraine so much, but he doesn't like the Zelensky government, blah blah blah. But he's exactly doing the opposite thing. He's quite frankly a pro-Russian propagandist. That's what he is at the moment, and that's a tragedy, because I think he was much greater as Coach Red Pill. The world needed Coach Red Pill, I could say, because, as I said, 80% of his content was pure gold. And who needs this new Gonzalo Lira, who is just talking trash with the various weirdos on YouTube? Like, people who talk so assuredly about what they think about the Ukraine war and blah blah blah, but they don't know shit. Why should I listen to these pundits like this Alexander Mercuri or whatever his name is from Cyprus, the Duran? Why should I listen to those guys when I can listen to, like, in my case, Swedish or military officials, like the top people in the military that I can see on the news? They know what's going on in Ukraine and they say the truth about it, as far as they know. Why should I listen to these conspiracy guys that wants to portray everything to Russia's favor and to Ukraine's not favor because they are anti-Western and they are anti-woke and blah blah? I'm also anti-woke, but I can't tell right from wrong. And it's not always the case that my enemy's enemy is the enemy of your enemy is your friend. No, it doesn't have to be that way. And that's why for example, I'm like conservative, let's say. I'm anti-woke. I'm anti-cancel culture because I've been a victim of it. But I'm definitely pro-NATO. I'm pro the European Union. And I'm pro-Western. I'm a Western person. I'm Greek and Swedish. So I am Western. I cannot say that I'm not. And people who spew this, oh, West is so bad, everything is so fucked up, we're going down, we're so corrupt. No, that's not true. You're talking down on your own people, your own culture, and you shouldn't do that. And that's a fact, that people are so discontent about the state of affairs in the Western democracies, as Gonzalo Lira, this term he uses. They embrace everything else. Oh, China good, Russia good, yeah. Everybody is so fucking good except for us, but that's not the case, you know. So, yeah, that's that. And, you know, when I was a kid, one thing I learned was that they told me, don't believe everything you hear. And that is true. Definitely don't believe everything you see on the internet and what you hear on the internet. And they also say that the first thing that is lost in war is the truth. And that's probably very true. And this Gonzalo Lira guy, he's very, very charismatic. But that doesn't mean that what he says is true. But people take his words as truth. People take him like at face value. Like, oh, Coach Red Pill says this, then it's true. No, that's not the case. You know, that's a huge problem, that people think that just because a person is famous, or that, more importantly, that he's charismatic, that they're telling the truth. No, you know, that's how it is. You can be boring and not famous, and you can be the one who is telling the truth. And you can be very famous and very charismatic, charming, have a huge following of millions of subscribers, and you can be a lying bastard. And why, I don't know, this is my personal belief, that Coach Red Pill, Gonzalo Lira, he has been anti-Western in his values for a long time. He made them clear in Coach Red Pill channel that most of the things over here were shit and everything was so good somewhere else. And of course there's a reason why the guy moved to Ukraine. Probably it has something to do with women and whatever. It's a cheap country also. And many, let's be truthful here, many failed guys, many failed men go somewhere east to find a new life, find a wife, find a family, find a life. Maybe they have some money stored up and they can live off that money in this cheap country, whether it be in East Asia or South America or I don't know, East Europe somewhere. They can maybe live the rest of their lives on that money in those countries. And of course they can probably get a wife or get a woman somehow there. And I'm not talking shit or talking down on these men that find women, let's say in the Philippines or East Europe, or I don't know, because love can happen. But let's be honest, some guys, some older guys and also some younger guys in the West can't get a woman for whatever reason. They cannot get a woman to save their life, and when they go over there they can pull a few things and strings and voila, they got a woman. Yeah, so I'm not saying that Coach Red Pill went to Ukraine to get a woman and make a family. I'm not saying that. I don't know the facts. Why speculate when you don't know the facts? It has crossed my mind too to go somewhere in that direction and find a nice woman, because they have other values. They have traditional values, and I like that. Although I don't like it only. I like Western values also. So, yeah. So I'm not shitting on him for moving to Ukraine if he went there to find a woman in the first place or whatever reason. But I think that this is just what I think. I think he's a paid propagandist, because he has appeared in the past on Russia Today, RT. And yeah, that's a Russian propaganda channel, which is directly controlled by the Russian state. And yeah, given his anti-Western values and his hateful stance on Ukraine and the Zelensky government, and given what he's factually talking about for these 8 months and even longer, I think he's a paid propagandist. I think that he got, because he's very charismatic and he has a very big following, like 300,000 subs. Like, I think he got a phone call or an email from some person or entity in the Russian government or whatever, propaganda ministry or whatever, and they said, "Hey, Gonzalo, we see here that you're a great guy. You're talking smooth. You have the storytelling capabilities. You're very charismatic. We see that you have a huge following. Hey, how about we paying you X amount a year?" Or X amount per post on YouTube or whatever. How about that? And the guy maybe said, "Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. This X amount of money for me sitting here and doing what I know best, which is to make funny, in quote unquote funny videos, being the charismatic guy that I am." And yeah, that's what I think happened. Maybe he had some connections in that direction, Moscow, before, but I think they took off in this on the build-up to this war. I think he got contacted by Moscow and said, they told him like, "Hey, we see you, we know that you have a big following, you're a very charismatic guy. How about you work for us?" And yeah, probably, maybe it was a lot of money. Maybe it wasn't a lot of money. Maybe it was enough for him to have a semi-comfortable living where he's living, wherever that is. And yeah, that may be the case. And he's free to do that. But I just don't believe that he does this in Ukraine. Because as I said in the beginning, given his anti-Ukrainian stance, they would root him out in an afternoon and see to it that he stopped, let's say. That he, didn't do his videos anymore. Because this is a war. And the government is the entity that decides in Ukraine what's going to happen in this war as far as the Ukrainians are concerned. They have a total mobilization, or like a general mobilization of fighting age men from 18 to 60, I think it was. And then people say like, oh, they forbid the opposition. Yeah, of course they did. It's a war. It's a real war. And the biggest war in Europe since the end of the Second World War, 77 years ago, 1945. And like, of course the government forbade the opposition. You can't have political dissent and like bickering political parties when there is a hot war going on outside your door. That's like a war state of affairs. I know it's complicated. I know there are things, especially in the east of Ukraine, that's not easy. I know things are mucked up and mixed up, and Russian speaking and Russian blah blah and Ukrainian. I know there have been bad things going on both sides. We know that. We understand that it's complicated in the east. But it is what it is. And yeah. So I just don't believe him when he says that he's sitting in Kharkiv and doing these videos. He wouldn't get away with it. You know, he made a video after coming back, reappearing from his alleged when they abducted him or took him into custody or whatever, where he said, you know, I have to mince my words. I had to sign these papers, and yeah, right. That wasn't so credible because he's still doing full onslaught of his anti-Ukrainian, anti-Western films on YouTube and his other channels. So, I mean, this is the core of the critique, that he claims that he's in Kharkiv, but he can be anywhere. He can be in Poland, he can be in Holland, he can be in Russia, he can be in any country almost on earth. And I need to sum up this video now, but why would Gonzalo Lira, Coach Red Pill, stay in Ukraine where there's a hot, very dangerous war when his family is not there? He said himself a couple of times, my family is in the West, they're safe, he said. Who knows where they are? Maybe they are in Chile, maybe they are in the United States, maybe they are in Poland, I don't know. But he said himself that they're not in the Ukraine. And why then would he stay there? Why would he risk his life? He said, oh, I took a decision, I'm gonna see this thing to the end. I'm gonna be here and see what happens. I'm gonna see things through and see what happens. And maybe he thought that Russia would in fact take Ukraine in a week or whatever, like they did with Crimea. Maybe he thought that. Many people thought that. But that didn't happen. That didn't happen at all. So why would he stay in Ukraine when his family is not there? After all, he has 2 small kids. We know that. That's fact. He proved it. So is he staying there to like safeguard his wife's parents or his her relatives, or why is he staying? Why would he stay? Isn't like in a hot war situation, if you're a foreign citizen and he has, to my estimation, very weak ties to Ukraine. He came there, he has his wife, he has his kids. He lived there probably because it's cheap and it's not woke and he can be who he is and whatever and do his thing. But his ties to the Ukraine are probably very, very weak. And why would he stay when there's a hot, very lethal and dangerous war outside his door? Remember, Kharkiv was a total war zone just months ago. Now it seems to be a bit calmer. But why would he voluntarily go there and risk his life in a very real sense daily, just to sit there and talk on his video, you know, his videos. I just don't find it credible. And he hasn't proved it. Why? Come on, man, prove your claims. If you're in Kharkiv, then prove it. Go out in the city square and film yourself there. So, to sum it up about Gonzalo Lira, there is no proof that he has been in Kharkiv all this time, as he claims. There is no proof at all that he was abducted by the police or security forces. And all his wild claims about the happenings in the war, the proceedings, they are wildly speculative. Maybe some of them are not wrong, but most of them are. And he's like moving the goalpost all the time. He's like rearranging his narrative. Many people have noticed that. And yeah, as a war pundit, he's not credible. Just because he speaks in a very charismatic way and he has this persona doesn't mean that he's right or that he knows what he's talking about. And this is a problem because he has hundreds of thousands of followers that believe him and take his word for everything. They believe he's the mouthpiece of truth and that everybody else are liars or they have the wrong information and blah blah blah. No. Why should I believe Gonzalo Lira and the Duran and all these tinfoil hats, to put it frankly, when I can listen to the Swedish military when they are on the news telling the facts of what's going on the ground. The generals and, you know, they know what's going on there. They give the true version about the war, how it's going, and the political stuff behind, we don't even have to delve into that. But anyway, so the value of Gonzalo Lira's military analysis and punditism is zero. He doesn't know shit about what's going on. Yeah, as simple as that. And I believe that he left Ukraine very, very soon after him being in Kiev in the beginning of the war. He said himself that he was there for fixing documents, fixing papers of some kind, important papers. Okay, he probably was. But my guess is that he and his family left very, very soon after that. For some reason, he was in fact sitting in his hotel for many days. But who knows why. Maybe he thought that the Russians would come and everything would be over within a week. But he was wrong. Anyway, so... But the big problem is that he's spewing anti-Ukrainian garbage and hate and pro-Russian worldview, which is fucked up. And yeah, like a piece of trash, that's what it is. He's pro-Russian shilling. And I believe he's getting paid to do it. I believe he's getting paid by somebody, some entity in Moscow. That's what I believe. And yeah, that offer probably came in handy because he is a very anti-Western guy. He has made that very, very clear on his channel, Coach Red Pill. But this is the tragedy because, as I said, 80% of his content on Coach Red Pill was gold. It was solid advice about life. He's an experienced man, obviously, even though we cannot fact check his stories about his life and life in general and his experiences. We cannot fact check them. But I do think that he is an experienced man that has been out and about in the world and had many interesting experiences. For example, he filmed himself while he was in Amsterdam during Corona, I think it was, and he went on a motorcycle in the wintertime to the Ukraine. I wouldn't do that. I'm too comfortable for that. I would do that in the summer or in a period when it's warm. But he, the motherfucker, he did it in winter. So, yeah, Yeah, and that's a fact. He did it. I would like to see those videos again, because I didn't see them so much when they came out, because there was just too many videos to check to see. Not only his, but others as well, of course. But I don't. I need to search YouTube and see if I can find those videos where he's riding the motorcycle in the snow and ice through Europe. That was funny, actually. Kudos to him for that. So I do believe that many of his stories and wisdoms, they have a solid ground, a solid foundation, a base. That he's an experienced man that talked truthfully about life and life experiences and whatever. But 20% was like anti-Western and misogynistic hate on his channel. He obviously have a lot of it inside that he needed to spew out. As they say in the Bible, what the heart is full of, the mouth is speaking. And that's how it is. And yeah, this is a tragedy. He claims that he does this out of his interest, and oh, I lost the interest in my Coach Red Bull channel, and now I'm doing this because I'm so interested in it. I'm not so sure. I mean, his channel was gold. He had 300,000 subscribers. He could have had maybe 1 million today, but he flushed it down the toilet. So why? I don't understand. And he had this video like, leave now while you still can, like leave the West while you still can. This is ridiculous. Yeah. And I forgot. He made a video during Corona, like in the early months of Corona. Like, oh, this shit is out there, you know, I'm going dark. If you don't see me for a while, like I'm hiding somewhere, or I'm gonna go in the woods and disappear or something like that, he said. Because in this video, he was like wild. His eyes were wild with fear. Like, oh, this shit is out there, he said. He truly believed that Corona was like the new plague or something like that. Many people thought that, but I didn't. Because I can see through bullshit. And the corona scamdemic was, for the most part, for the largest part, it was a lot of bullshit. It was a propaganda pandemic. It was a scamdemic. Okay, the virus exists. Okay, the disease existed. But it didn't warrant at all these quote-unquote measures. All the lockdowns and forcing people to stay at home and stuff. And these fucking mouth masks and whatever. That was out of this world, you know. And but he was like, oh, this shit is out there. He was like, yeah, so he shows cracks in his facade, you know. Quite often, I would say. He has funny moments and he has wise moments, but the cracks in his facade are showing often, let's say, where his narrative collapses and his credibility collapses. But this is the whole thing. He's an entertainer. He would do great as an actor. In fact, he is an actor. I don't know why he hasn't pursued an acting career, because his way of talking and speaking, it's world class. It's really top tier when he wants to. Now with these new garbage channels that he has, he's nothing. Now he's just he's nothing now. But in Coach Red Pill, he was world class in his filming technique, where he could get like ordinary topics and subjects to sound very mystic and very advanced and very high level, very intellectual, very convincing. But he flushed that down the toilet. And but he, as I said in the beginning, he could talk hours on end about any topic and unscripted. I mean, if it was scripted, I don't know where he had the script, because yeah, he never checks his papers. He did say in some videos sometime that I have a list of notes here, but for the most part, I think he made his videos very unscripted. Maybe he had on the wall some points that he could check too if he forgot what to talk about. But yeah, I mean, the guy is an entertainer, he's an actor, and he's a storyteller. And that's why we shouldn't believe his narrative on Ukraine and Russia and the anti-West garbage, because you can tell a lie in a convincing way. You can be very charismatic and sound trustworthy, but you're still a liar. And for the most part, he is this when he talks about Ukraine and what's going on there. Yeah, like many other YouTubers, he's not alone in this by far, but he has a very big audience, like hundreds of thousands see his videos. And yeah, the internet is full of discussions about, oh, Gonzalo Lira said this, and he's a journalist in Ukraine. No, he's not a journalist, for fuck's sake. He's a YouTuber, he's an internet personality. He's nowhere fucking near to be a journalist. So, you know, everything that is gold, everything that looks like gold is not gold. Everything that glimmers is not gold. So, just don't believe an internet personality. Don't take their word like for the truth when you have no proof or fact that it is the truth. Maybe it rhymes with your opinions, with your what you suspect, but that doesn't prove that it's the truth. That's not a guarantor for that being the truth. So, okay. But I know that this will not happen, but I just wish that Gonzalo Lira would have not went down this rabbit hole of pro-Russian propaganda and anti-Ukrainian and anti-Western propaganda. He should have stayed mildly critical, as he was in Coach Red Pill. That was a great channel. It was a unique channel. And he's a unique person. That's why he shouldn't like smear himself in this way, like destroying what he built up. Because he was a star. Coach Red Pill, he was a star on the internet, on YouTube. He even got some fucking prize from the headquarters of YouTube. And he made this Karen video, which was, it was kind of funny, but it was also kind of, okay, this guy is semi 3/4 nuts. So, yeah, I mean, you get a nice prize and you just mock and taunt the, the giver of the prize. That doesn't add up to me. So, yeah. Yeah, what the fuck to say about Coach Red Pill? Yeah, he's a phenomenon, that's for sure. Yeah, and yeah, what to say? The guy has enormous potential, especially as an actor. And I don't know, he claimed to have been writing novels. Okay, where are those novels? Can you show them to us? Show me the novels, like hold them in front of the camera. You know, he probably should have a stash of them somewhere. And then he shilled for this Wilshire Boulevard. He claimed to be writing a novel about with the name Wilshire Boulevard, and he like begged for money for this book on his channel, and in a very convincing way. But I suspected all along that it was not what it appeared to be. And where is this book, Gonzalo Lira? You claim to write this book. Where is it? Where is Wilshire Boulevard? If you discontinued the project, where is the money that you got? Where is the notes? Can you show us the notes of the book? So yeah, that was a huge crack in his credibility, quite frankly. But anyway, I'm a believer that people can repent and become better, even if they are at the bottom, as I have been. You can be better. You can get up again. You can become great again, let's say. Make Coach great again. So yeah, I think you, Gonzalo Lira, you should get back to making quality content like you did on Coach Red Pill. That was gold. That you were a star. You were valuable to many people, and the topics, I mean, world class, like most of the topics, or most of the topics in each video were very interesting and nuggets of gold for younger guys, and also older guys like me. I'm in my 40s. And now this, like, fuck, man. How can a person sink so low? Fuck, I'm lost for words. Like this Ukrainian shit, like what the hell? I don't know how much they paid you, but I don't know. You don't seem to be enjoying the money anyway, so you look way happier in Coach Red Pill, that channel. Yeah, you're going south as far as I can tell. So, fuck. But anyway, I've been rambling enough about this now, and yeah, time to get back to business, and I'm probably gonna go home now and watch some Coach Red Pill videos because they're so fucking great. And then I'm gonna go to his Gonzalo Lira channel and like face palm myself. What the hell is the guy talking about now? Like, fuck, man, that's oh man, I don't even know what the fuck to say. But thank you all for watching, and please share this video and like push the like button if you liked it, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks again 1,000 times for watching this video. Have a nice day now. Bye.